Welcome back. As stated in the title of the video, this is part 2 of my Katowice experience. So if you want to learn more about the city and the history, I suggest you watch the previous video. Link should be at the top. And also, if you are interested in other parts of Poland, I've visited quite an extensive range of places now, and this list is forever growing. I still have a few videos to release from this year's travels, so do feel free to check out the playlist of my journey in Poland. So in today's video, we're going to go a bit outside of Katowice. So the first place we're going to go to is Nikiszowiec, which is an old kind of mining town just outside of the city, about 8 kilometers away. You have quite a few buses that will take you there, 30, 920, 674, 930, and it's quite a famous place in Poland. It's a setting for cult films such as Perła Wikorony, Sol Ziemi Czarnej, or Angelus, and there's a famous book called Czarny Ogród, which is based there. So you have quite a lot to see here. So one thing is the Ethnographic Museum, and unlike a lot of the other ethnographic museums, this place focuses more on the kind of urban history, and you learn quite a lot about the kind of the poorer classes here. Now, in this city, you will find quite a lot of very red brick buildings, which is what makes it very characteristic. So you have St. Anne's Church, for example, completed in 1927 of Baroque design. You will find actually this town was built between 1908 and 1914, and is basically kind of part of the Wieczorek coal mine. And it was designed by George and Emil Zillman of the Berlin-Charlottenburg place. And it was built to house 1,000 workers. You will find here, originally it had a school, a hospital, a police station, post office, swimming pool, bakery, and church. Most of which I believe has survived to the present day. It's quite popular with tourists, and it doesn't take too long to go around, and it's definitely worth the visit. And as I say, it's very iconic and quite original, I think you'll find. And if you go a little bit north of the kind of the main town, you have a specific art gallery there, which is known as the Wilson Shaft Gallery. And some would describe it as Katowice's best art space, and it's actually located in the Pithead building, an old bathhouse of the old Wilson Shaft. Admission is free, and I saw somewhere saying that it has some good breakfasts as well, quite bizarre. It's full of sculptures and paintings, and yeah, it's definitely worth a visit if you're, popping out of the city to this particular location. So I would definitely recommend visiting this area. So also a bit outside of the city, you've got Silesia Park. So you can see Legendia here, sadly closed when I went there, which was a big amusement park. But to get to Silesia Park, you can travel right from the centre. There are trams, 0, 6, 11, 19, buses, 6, 8:20, 8:30, 8:40. So plenty of opportunities to get out there. The park itself is massive. It's 620 hectares in total, and actually contains quite a few different aspects to it. One aspect that I went to very near the beginning of my trip was to the zoo. Now, it's actually at about 50 hectares, so it's a pretty large zoo. Some would say the largest in Poland. There are, approximately like 2,465 animals there, over 390 species. And the zoo itself was founded around 1954, with heavy development carrying on to the late 60s, and of course some more recent developments as well. It's gone through numerous directors, of course, over that time, had several upgrades, and actually the original zoo was placed in a neighbouring area called Bytom, and a lot of the original animals for this zoo came from there. In its first year, it attracted 500,000 visitors, so it was very, very popular. I think these days it's more in the 350,000 kind of range. So it's not like overly busy. As you can see from the videos, it wasn't too crowded, and this was like the height of summer. But it's a nice diversion. I mean, some would say it's not the best zoo in Poland, but you saw a lot there. It was very beautiful, very well designed, and a nice kind of large space to walk around, with lots of like cafes and a petting zoo, and so if you're going there with the kids, it's an ideal place to get out and about. It also contains a dinosaur park. And the dinosaur park, it includes 16 full-scale reconstructions, and these are actually based on findings from a Polish expedition to the Gobi Desert. So it just adds a little bit of flavour there. I'd say it probably takes at least an hour to walk around, maybe a little bit longer, depending on, how much focus you want. I think the entrance fee wasn't too bad, maybe about sort of 20, 25 zloty sort of thing. So if you like animals and it's a nice, lovely sunny day, I would definitely recommend having a wander around. As you can see, there are quite a large variety of species, and, the animals on the whole, when they weren't looking tired, as they do in most zoos, seem to be quite happy. So, yeah, definitely one to visit. But a bit more about the park. So, actually, this park was in a bit of a state. Kind of work began on it in the 1950s. And before then, it was actually in quite a bad situation, because 75% of this very, very large area was devastated by mining and industrial waste. So it actually represents one of the most ambitious and pioneering environmental renewal projects ever undertaken in Europe. So trust me, you can walk around this place for hours. You just see the observatory there, which I think is under renovation. You've got like a cable car that runs through, running from the amusement park to the Silesian Stadium, which is about a 40-minute journey time. Yeah, trust me, if you're going to this park, you need to give it a good amount of time. I think I was wandering around for hours. You find some festivals are held there. So the Festival seems to be the biggest event, and some people were telling me they believe the Junior Eurovision Song Contest was held here as well. Dotted around the park, you will find a lot of beautiful lakes, and as well, if you like a drink, there's the odd pub or bar here and there. This particular place was the Browar Przystän, and not only did I have some wonderful food, but they had some really nice kind of craft beers there. And actually they let me sample one that wasn't on the menu at the time, which was this kind of, they called it like a British porter. And I'm guessing maybe they don't get too many Brits there, because they were asking for my advice about what I thought about it. But lovely food, lovely drink, and an amazing setting. And yeah, so you can walk around this park for a long time. You got the stadium there, which apparently is home to some of Poland's kind of victories in the football over the years. And now this area is the Upper Silesian Ethnographic Park, dating back to the late 60s and covering 20 hectares of land. The park actually is a bit of a home for rescued, endangered or forgotten Silesian structures. And these things were literally turfed up and moved to this kind of reserve. You'll see a few animals there as well, which is quite characteristic of these ethnographic parks. I think I've been to 3 ethnographic parks in Poland. Admittedly, they all look quite similar in a way, but again, a lovely way to walk, to spend a day in the sun. This particular park contains 6 regions containing about 100 buildings dating from the 18th to the 20th century, including like thatched roof homes, granaries, wooden churches, wayside shrines, and windmills. And this rather cool workshop, and this guy made all of the bits and pieces you can see in there. It's quite impressive. But totally, the Silesian Park, you need, I would say, about half a day if you want to try and make the most of it. I think even though I probably spent about 4 hours or so walking around, I think I was a bit tired and maybe a little bit dehydrated by the end of it. But it was well worth it. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and see you again soon.